All right, I'm back again. I did 2 poetry readings this week, and from both of my books, which I guess I could throw them out there. Poetry Most Foul and Where Our Feelings Go to Die. This one I read from this book, and read from that book. There we go. And so I thought I'd read some more poems. Kind of on the spur of the moment. Late night coffee. I didn't have a cup today, so I'm allowed 1 cup every day. And God, I hate looking at myself. All right. I will read some poetry. I always try and think off the wall, off cue style poetry. I'll open with a poem. And tonight, I was going to read poems that are not in books that I wrote. Let's see here. Poems done. Here we go. And these are not. Oh, here we go. This poem is called, maybe I did read from one of these one night. I don't know. Whatever, I'm doing it this week. I get really frustrated with poets because they don't seem to challenge themselves much. A lot of time when I hear poets speak, especially online, the garbage they produce, it's just, those are just sentences. You're just speaking, so you're just telling me your day. You're telling me what happened, and that's not a poem. So I don't know. I can't do that at all. So I like to write stuff like this. Even like the edgy poets, I'm like, you guys aren't really moving your words around enough. Every now and then I find a good poet, but this one's called The Baddest of the Bad. I sold my friends for a good time. Now that I've got new ones, my soul is weak. The next one is coming in, useless but for a laugh, babbling someone else's intelligence. You don't know who is keeping track. I wrote this about someone I once knew. Any guesses? It could be fictional. An animal on auto-tune. I don't know. The crowd doesn't make me happy. I need a high. I'm low on gas. Time to fill up. Let's see what lurks. The alleyway, society at a flash. That old friend, he doesn't hang around. The opinions open up and it's on and on. The circle that is kept small don't evolve. So I'll sign off with the fade. It's using me. It's used to me. That's a poem I wrote. Here's one I wrote recently that I'm really fond of. I don't know if everyone appreciates the humor. It's called We're Bringing Back the Old. The stick in the paddle, the glare of disapproval, the hunched over backs, pointing with your middle finger, the shrewd lips that say, "Are you supposed to be here?" Starch in our underwear, grease in our hair, pants up to our waist, the loafers and the slacks. The day will start off at 6, in bed by 10. Dinner is at 6, not when it's ready. Oh, geez, I won't have to rewrite that line. Now get out of the way, Sonny, because we're bringing back the old. Ha! There we go. And one of my favorites that I wrote, this one was really popular, and I'm glad it was. And I think it pissed off a few people online, but I don't think they listened to the end of the poem before they got all pissed off. I don't know. That's how it works, I guess. It's called The Archivist's Friend. I know you feel robbed, threatened, humiliated, taken advantage of, disrespected beyond belief. The narrative kept changing. You were told lies repeatedly, Evidence was destroyed, details purposely left out, information withheld, all in an act to cover up the truth. The worst part is, they just keep adding to the pile. But despite it all, I still believe history must be preserved. Sincerely, the archivist friend. I really enjoyed that one. My brain's all over the place with poetry. Oh, here, because I titled it The Modern Poet, I'll read this one. I've probably written 3 poems called The Modern Poet, but that's what this one's called. Poetry is supposed to be riddled with spelling errors and mistakes. I got it right, I got it wrong, love down the drain, panting and heaving, swallowed whole by the pain. My cat won't talk to me anymore. It's a mess of ups and downs, highs and lows, dysfunctional verbs, inappropriate nouns, adjectives that ran on just a little too long. I tell you, it's tough being a poet nowadays. Yeah, I'm writing a lot of these shorter because I don't know, people have short attention spans, but oh yeah, here's a really short one, and I really enjoy this one. I don't know if everybody likes it. It's called Words, man, Words. What the hell are you doing? Get away from my words. Those words belong to me. I wrote them. I felt them. Only I can speak them with the girth that they need. You didn't tend to the list and give them a good read. I bled from my soul to create something that expresses me. And I think that's important. God, there's just so much garbage poetry out there. I don't know. Yeah, oh yeah, I like this one. Yeah, if you're gonna, people tend to be really one-minded when they write their poems. I've listened to a lot of poets out there and first-timers, and I think it's great everyone writes poetry and whatever expresses. They're not really expressing themselves though. It's just with women, it's like we're just gonna talk about that one relationship. It's either on a high or a low. And I've seen it a million times where they write that poem and they're like, I'm in love, he's so wonderful. And then 6 months later, they write another poem. That man was garbage, he used me. I'm like, but there could be more to your life. There could be a lot more to your life going on than just that. Like you could do some self-reflection. There could be other things going on in your world right now, you know? And so I don't know, that's where a lot of my poems come from, frustrations of life. Didn't have it easy. But here's one I wrote. It's called I Have a Voice. I have a voice, and it has been trampled on many times throughout my life. By the weak, by the strong, by the indiscriminate screw. Though I wish I did not have to use it, occasionally it is required. In dire situations of a social economic nature, it often lacks courage and strength. Although it is solemn, it is solely mine, and sometimes it is sad for what it must do. So if you're going to write a poem, it doesn't have to be direct people conflicted with people, do some self-reflection. Oh yeah, I wrote this one. It's called Today I Am Not Human, which my goal is to write 3 more poems with that title. But I couldn't quite get there. But I wrote this one. Today I am not human. Time is a clock and eligible to exist on this plane. For today I am not human, but a weary traveler on the road of life. Someone in the back seat asked me, where are we going? I do not know. But you see that sunset on the horizon? It's not a destination. It's an idea that we can be free from the road behind us. That works. Here's another one I wrote called My Hero. Let's see. Anyways, yeah. I don't like showing my face so much. I don't know. I can't do it with the face. You know, like when I started doing stuff online, I just couldn't show my face 24/7 on these things. It's called My Hero. They say to emulate your heroes if you want to be successful. Copy the process, repeat, pass along, worship, idolize, sacrifice. It's not enough. Ignore what you see in the mirror. Ask the gods what they predict and recreate it, because your thoughts have no value. Interpretation has an answer key held by the teacher. The solution should be obvious and obtainable. Tune a certain way, play it conventional. Fill out this form, delegate the process by the process of delegation. Find the unique alliteration with the same consciousness that I did. Look for similarities in thinking and do not go outside of those lines. Don't talk about the weird, talk about how it is unusual. Well, I guess that poem didn't get finished. There's got to be a finished copy somewhere. You guys can't see what I'm seeing though. I was going to put art up here too, but I guess I forgot. What was that poem I wrote? Oh no, I can't remember it. Oh yeah, I wrote this one-liner poem. It goes, oh, shoot, how does that go? Oh yeah, I can think for myself, I can speak for myself, and I can feel for myself. And when someone tries to speak on my behalf, I have the right to raise my voice so that I will be heard. I wrote that so people stop trying to, like, you ever had that problem? Like somebody just jumps in and starts speaking on your behalf. So I recite that to myself so they'll stop talking for me. Let's see here. I read a bunch of those. Let's see. I got more. I got tons of poems. Poem work. I'm trying to write some poetry now because I've seen all this stuff on TikTok and YouTube. All these like poets, and I don't have it done, but I call it secondhand poetry or unrealistic standards of poetry, where they just repetitiously recite sentences along the way. It's just like the most vague meaning poems like ever. Like, there's no rhyme to it. It's just someone talking. It's usually a chick with bubbly eyes, and they're just like the most shit poetry you can think of. I don't know how else to explain that. But I'll read this unfinished poem. It's called Poindexter, because I really want to finish it. I like it, you know. If you see Poindexter coming, well, you better hit the ground or running. He's got thick-rimmed glasses and a pocket protector, slacks and suspenders, pinstripe t-shirt, and an attitude that says facts and data. Grease on his forehead, laughs like a geezer. You'll know when he's here by the shadow of his long nose hair. Jeepers, now do the dweepers, the hot-footed step, weeping one after the other. It's not really finished. And then I like to do these quick-witted short thought processes. Like, I wrote this one recently. It's not really a poem. It's not done either. It's just a statement. A flower does not need religion, nor does it require it to grow. Which is true. A flower can just grow on its own. It doesn't need a deity or a god or anything. It can just exist. So that was just interesting point of thought. Here's another one. Americans are easily offended by the dichotomy of their own culture. That's one thing that Americans are good at. Um, the left-right issues with Americans, right? Like they get easily offended, and then you have one side that's like, I freaking hate America and everything in it. But man, when I start going off about like, there's just some things, but I wrote this: Americans are easily offended by the dichotomy of their own culture. That tends to upset people. Like they don't want to hear that about themselves. And I wrote one earlier that really upset some people, but that's fine. Good. Hopefully they think. And dang it, it's on my phone. And I'm otherwise I'd read it. Oh, here's one. And I don't know. I think of these ones that think through thoughts. I'll convince you of my reason, and you convince me of your reason. And then we'll trade spots and sit down, knowing nothing has changed. And yeah, there we go. People tend to not like that. If they have to question their own thoughts, it's kind of difficult, isn't it? Right? Like you're just so warped in your brain that all the issues are just muddled to how the internet's telling you how to think. They read 5 memes and that's their whole process through life. Like they can't go deviate from that path. Um, it's got to be within that frame of thought, within those 5 memes they quickly read. What was it? The whole Israeli Palestine thing. I had a friend who was years ago now. He was telling people about Israel and Palestine, and he's like, "No, Israel's bad." And everybody like stopped hanging out with him, and no one would be his friend anymore. And they all called him a racist. And I was like, "No, you should listen to him. And I don't side on either side because that issue's so complicated. It's been around forever. Like but people jump on the wagon pretty quick. And now all his friends that abandon him are all like pro Palestine, like he was. Like I'm like, there's no reason for you to hate this guy anymore. You guys just didn't understand him at the time. Which left right issues, I don't know. That's a huge mess. I don't want to get into it. All right, let's see. But I got more poems. I can always read from the books. I don't know if I'm just reading unfinished poems. They hung him at midnight before he could even get a word out. They said his poetry wasn't good enough to be read aloud. He was an outlaw bandit, swashbuckler, pirate, criminal type. He mostly wrote about the quailing issues pertaining to the misunderstood, moments in his life that he had, embarrassment, shaking feelings of inadequacies, blushed with excitement, rejection, hair-raising, squeamish, the faults of a nerdy weirdo. But that's not what they want to hear at the open mic. You've got to provoke thought in a way that lends to the crowd's ego. Champion the narrative. Who knows? Maybe I'll finish that one at some point. I got too many poems. I read all these poems on here. I'll read a couple okay, I found it. And like, so I did this book called, and I don't have a copy with me, but it's called Journey into the Surreal, Deities, Shamans, and Astrological Beings. And I had all these backlogged poems, which I thought no one would like, but I liked them. So I put them, because they kind of paired with this art book I did, but for whatever reason on YouTube, I started posting these poems on there because none of my friends are on YouTube. So that's great. No one can read them or see them. And people really resonated with the stuff and they liked it. So just, let's see. I guess I'll just read one because I didn't. Lord of the Underworld. The surrealist paradise where wind catches fire, water crumbles as soft and brittle stone, and gods can be created as easily as shadows move away from the light. The Lord of the underworld is the Lord to us all, for we were all once beings of the darkness dwelling in the sulfur mines, until one day we crawled to the surface, seeking the warmth of the light. Mm. Oh, here we go. The magical chair. It's just me. It's just a regular person on here reading stuff. Like, nobody ever comments or says anything. It's just dead silence. I had a kid one time comment. That was pretty cool. Anyways, this is called The Magical Chair. The woman on top of the mountain of sorrows looks down from her chair. What she sees is the joy that is not known, the curious laughter that is met with confusion, the curse of happiness, the tears invoked by strange emotions, the feeling of calm resolution. With a scoff, she snickers and says, "Who dares?" at the end of her steeple. That one, I think, was inspired by a painting, but that one doesn't even make sense. I'll read it. I'll read it anyways. The Spirit of Shadows. Maybe there's a more complete version out there. I don't know. Today started off well, but when night fell, I found myself wandering through the streets of Bazaar in a land built on foreign obscurity. I must remain in silence and live alone in the dream of unusual words, or the omnivores of the world will devour my soul. Oh, here's a good one. That's what I love about poetry, and that's what I love about some of the stuff I write. Like, you can tell some people is like free spirited as they claim to be. When I read, sometimes when you read a poem, they just don't get it. Their barbaric brain doesn't want to have to internalize or interpret thought. And so I always thought that was pretty cool, you know, because then you can kind of. I was a nerdy kid. I didn't play sports, so I didn't really resonate with like jocks and stuff. But anyways, this one's called The Path to Magical Thinking and Surreal Dreaming. There's a secret opening in the white wall. It is guarded by a lion with crocodile teeth. Whisper to its tail that you have seen magical things. The lion shall instantly fall asleep. On the other side of the wall is the forest of barbed wire and cinnamon. If lighting helps. Running through the middle is a river that never returns. Once you cross over, you will come upon the 9 pillars of Socrates. Stand in the middle and search for the 2 stone eggs atop the gate. So shall the riddle be broken. Now you can begin on your journey down the path to magical thinking and surreal dreaming. Like, these poems did really well on YouTube. This book here did really well in public. Like, reading poems from this book, people love that stuff, and I don't know. I can read some poems from here too, from these ones. And this, I wrote this one. Let's see. Well, I'll read the dream chair. The mind of a lunatic, the hair of a rabid animal, the watch of a madman, the scream of the irrational, the smile of the incurable, the mask of sanity, the ears of an ant, the long nose of Aphrodite, the sneer of the peacock, the clairvoyant lips of the prophet, the nocturnal thinker, all have sat at one time or another in the dream chair. There we go. Well, I got my quotes here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I guess I got a lot of good quotes. You can check out. I got plenty of poetry on here, so you can always look for it if anyone wants to hear it. But I wrote all these one-liners that I got here. Oh, that's a fun one. It's called "The Last Season to Remember." The last season to remember, the bitter end of life is haunting and stale. But underneath its last garden breath is a sweet perfume fermenting the soil. And then I wrote this other one, which I really enjoy. It's called The Weight of the World. So you kind of got to stop and think about it. I'll read through it slowly. The weight of the world can break the backs of even the strongest of lions. But the patience of a mouse can slip through the tiniest of cracks in the earth. I thought that was fun. Oh, if you're going to write a poem and give credit to Jim Hemingway. Anyways, here's another one I wrote, a short one. Find peace in the storm of your thoughts against those who would bring you distress. And then I gave credit to Elmer Fudd because I think he wrote it. The greatest catalyst to change is the invention of strange. Jim Hemingway. You'll have to look that guy up. And here's one I like, because if I'm having a conversation with an intellectual type that has all the answers, they seem to know everything, and yeah, they know everything. They've got all the answers, and even when you're right, you're wrong. So I call it the quote of all quotes. For every great quote offering insight and intellect, there will always be another one of equal value, just as great, that will contradict it. And then I wrote this one, which is, I wrote this quote a while back when, just like the internet started just more and more producing more. We've been dealing it now for a few years, but producing more and more content that was more rage and anger driven. And to try and get you to lean towards a viewpoint without any sort of thought, like maybe I should question things, maybe, like, because the internet does that, like they're like, you need to have this opinion, and if you don't have this opinion, you're worthless, so you gotta have an opinion. But I wrote this one called keep them walking. Keep them walking, keep them talking, distort and confuse. Before you know it, they will think like you. This message was brought to you by the Modern Day Racist. So if you can't get someone to, and I've noticed that, like, if you're left or right leaning, um, it's amazing. Like, if for the people I've known in my life that lean heavy left or heavy right, you can watch someone from the left go to the right or someone from the right go to the left very easily, because all you have to do is keep them walking, just keep talking, distort and confuse the message, and next thing you know, it's like they're wandering around just lost throughout life, and they just need something to adhere to. And yeah, I've known a lot of people like that. My father was like that. He could change his opinions very easily depending on who he was talking to, just to kind of like fit in with the crowd. Here's one I love. Not everyone gets this one. It's called the gift giving proverb. Never give more than you can receive, and never accept a gift under false pretenses. It will cost you more than you know. And then got another one. I called this one the painters of life. The painters of life. Who will get to hold that brush, I perceive? Will it be the villain, the thief, or the one who lives inside of me? I thought it offers insight. I don't, know if you have to know what that means, but it'll help you think. Oh, here's a good one I wrote. When you present the problem and idolize the solution, you fail to acknowledge the human. Um, oh, yeah, here's another good one. Compromise is deciding how much we should pollute the river. All right. Well, is that about it? Should I read one from the book? I'll read one from one of these books. I'll read a poem from each book. Let's see. Poetry Most Foul or Where Our Feelings Go to Die. Hold on a second. I'm going to do this. Just have some better lighting, I guess. I'll do soft and then hard, right? Oh, I don't know. Hard and then soft. I'll read from my first poetry book, Where Our Feelings Go to Die. I'll find something in here. Oh, here's a good one. Advocacy for Human Rights, or How to Hold a Conversation with Normal People. When you allow your anger to become your voice, then all people will hear is your anger. Okay. That was written by Dr. Donald Ewing Cameron. But anyways, here's the poem, Advocacy for Human Rights. I can get microscopic on any issue you want. 10 pages of the word to the letter on the man. Let them know you've done more research on the subject than Herb. We're the good guys, right? Scripted response. The best way to win an argument is to be decisive and divide. Turn things around quickly and make them seem weak. Force them to decide. Question everything they bring up. Assault the integrity of their character. Be assertive and mean. Interject often with a question, in which leaves only one inevitable outcome. That is, that you were right all along. Are you tired? Have I worn you out? Keep engaging, keep enraging, keep reacting, keep their ear full of your mouth. I've got a lot of time invested in this and a few key trigger words that will make you fly off the handle. Always rule by fear, never by logic. Stand close enough to let them know your grin is bigger than them. Your eyes, always on point, is a physical strength. If you want to hold a conversation, hold them accountable. There will be consequences for the justification of my actions. Demean and belittle. Mention the state of the world and where we're all headed if they don't comply with the hive like-minded objective. There we go. I think that one kind of fit tonight's prompt a little bit. Be honest, I didn't know where I was headed. So I'll read one more poem from my book, Poetry Most Foul. Doo-doo-doo. All right, that seemed to turn the viewer off. All right, I'll read a poem from here. Let's see. I'll find one. Oh, here we go. I'll just read this one. This will close it out. I didn't know there was a poem for if you've ever heard the classical music piece, Clair de Lune. I had no clue that there was already a poem for it, so I didn't think there was, so I wrote one. Because I really love that tune. It is said that you are sad and beautiful. You burn in the sun, the glorious light of the sun, and shine so peacefully under the pale moon, the sad and beautiful moon. You close your eyes, but the pain never goes away. It does not subside. Moments pass you by. On a high, you slowly die as a gust of rushing wind. Intense feelings, emotions run wide. Streams of teary skies. Then it fades, the passion flees, the creation withers, crumbles to dust beneath gods of defeat. In their soft and delicate fingertips, unable to grab hold of the moments that once made us smile. The world grows cold, there is no hope, no way to cope. In the end, it all fades, turning tides. To the earth we return, till those final moments we worked so hard to achieve are left forgotten in the passages of the mound we helped to create. There we go. That's the final poem I'll do for tonight. I've been on here quite a while, but as a final thought, if you're going to write poetry, don't just do the cookie cutter crap where you, excuse me, I think I just need more coffee. Don't do the cookie cutter crap, where you just tell people what they want to hear, where you just tell yourself what you want to hear. Like if you write a poem about how great you are or how wrong that person was, stop and reflect. Put the poem back down and ask yourself, was I that great of a person? Where did I go wrong in life? And then rewrite that poem in a way that's not going to be so flattering to yourself. Do some deep reflection and figure it out. Um, I don't know. I met a lot of characters and personality. So yeah, just do some reflection. Maybe you got some character and personality that you're hiding or you're hiding behind. And you can discover something, find something else. I like to I've done so much that I started getting into other people's heads, and I'm like, what the hell are they thinking? Some of the best poems I've ever written were, I don't know if I want to call them revenge poems, but it's just like sitting there listening to someone read their poem, knowing they're lying to themselves about themselves. I'm like, well, I gotta write a poem about that. I'm going to tell the truth about you. I don't think you want to hear it. I don't think you wanted to tell yourself the truth. So I don't know. Just think about it. Reflect a little bit. Work outside of the five main thoughts that the internet has told you to have. See if you can pull it off. I'll leave it at that. And thanks for the people that did tune in tonight. I'll be back again next week. I don't know if I'm going to go, I might read the other novel. People seem to enjoy that. We'll see what happens. Let's start a poll. I don't want to start a poll. Oh, here we go. I can start a poll on this.